escapism, loss, memories. In October 2019, GameSpot published an article written by Matt Paget where GameSpot staff members recommended media similar to The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. A few included were Stardew Valley, Polar Bear Cafe, Twin Peaks, and Spirited Away. Steve Watts, another member of GameSpot, suggested that the movie Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is similar to Link's Awakening in terms of theme. Before we dive in comparing Eternal Sunshine and Link's Awakening, I need to summarize these stories for those who haven't experienced them. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind follows Joel, an ordinary man struggling with a breakup. He discovers that his ex-girlfriend, Clementine, had all memories of him erased through a mind-erasing procedure. Joel seeks out the service and impulsively undergoes the same operation to erase all memories of his ex and their relationship. During the procedure, a subconscious version of Joel witnesses his memories of Clementine being erased in real time and begins to regret his decision.
Can you hear me? I don't want this anymore. I want to call it off!
The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening follows Link as he explores Koholint Island, an island where he washes ashore after a fierce storm at sea. He forms bonds with the people of the island, including a romantic connection with Marin. He soon discovers that the world he's in is a dream, and once he wakes up, Koholint Island, its residents, and the woman he has fallen for will disappear. This comparison is incredibly niche, and only a few people on this planet will fully understand my points in this video. If you haven't seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, I cannot recommend it enough, especially if you've been in a long-term relationship. It's remarkable. And then Link's Awakening is a lovely game with a killer atmosphere and enjoyable dungeons. It's easy to recommend because it's a pretty simple game and it doesn't take terribly long to complete. It's also possibly the single game for which I have the most merchandise for. Can you guess which Zelda game is my favorite? That's right, Majora's Mask. But we're not talking about that today. If you've played Link's Awakening and watched Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, welcome. Thank you for watching. This video was made for you. The idea of this video popped into my mind shortly after the Link's Awakening remake released in September 2019. I distinctly recall while playing it on release how I grew to appreciate both Eternal Sunshine and Link's Awakening immensely in 2015, and revisiting them both 4 years later felt like seeing the high school you graduated from years later. Nostalgic, moving. It was that GameSpot article where I found validation for my idea. While it has taken quite a while to make it and several script drafts, I'm excited to finally share this video with the world. The majority of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind takes place in a dream where Joel, the protagonist, collaborates with his subconscious version of his ex-girlfriend, Clementine, to preserve the memories of her that are being erased by the memory wiping procedure he impulsively signed up for. Joel's journey in the dream has him explore recent memories from his relationship with Clementine, and even memories from his childhood. In his desperation to save any memory of his ex-girlfriend, he dives into the depths of his subconscious to try and escape the machine devouring his relationship. Outside of the opening and closing cutscenes, Link's Awakening takes place entirely in a dream. But it isn't the protagonist's dream. It's not Link's dream. Link is in the dream of the Windfish. The dream takes place on Koholint Island, an island made up of the Windfish's subconscious. However, Link's memories make up part of this dream's ecosystem. Some bosses, characters, and items are directly pulled from Link's previous adventure, the prequel game, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. And the most important piece taken from his previous adventure is this game's love interest, Marin. Marin is seemingly the manifestation of Link's idealization of Princess Zelda from A Link to the Past. During that game, Link didn't get the opportunity to spend that much time with Princess Zelda. He has these expectations of what Princess Zelda is really like as a person, and those expectations manifested as Marin in the dream world. This isn't outright stated anywhere in the game, however, it's a common conclusion drawn by players. The game manual states that Marin bears an uncanny resemblance to Princess Zelda, and when Link first awakens in her house, he confuses her with Zelda. With Marin and Clementine, both of these stories revolve around men and their love for a woman. At the start of Eternal Sunshine, Joel and Clementine have 2 years of history, thousands of hours of being together, and being in love. Unlike Clementine with Joel, Link doesn't have any pre-established memories with Marin. She's an entirely new person to Link. During his time on Koholint Island, he creates memories with her. Link travels the world with Marin, visiting locations, taking pictures, even falling into a well together. They perform the Ballad of the Windfish together, and they share one of the most romantic moments in the Zelda franchise, when they go to the beach together and sit there and talk about what exists beyond the ocean. When I discovered you, my heart skipped a beat. I want to know everything about you. Marin becomes very special to Link. While he may not show it because Link is often a silent and blank slate in the Zelda series, even during the most heartbreaking moments, the flavor text spells out his feelings for this dream girl. Is this your big chance? Thankfully, we don't have to rely solely on descriptive text for confirmation of Link's feelings for Marin. The official manga for Link's Awakening shows Link as a fully developed character with feelings and dialogue. He talks about his deep feelings for Marin. He expresses fear and heartbreak when he learns that this adventure is all a dream, storming out of the Southern Face Shrine in hysterics after discovering that Koholint Island must vanish for him to return to his old life. As both stories progress, the sole conclusion becomes clear. Joel and Link must accept that their time with the person they cherish must come to an end. And that acceptance is difficult. At the conclusion, Joel accepts fate and stops trying to save the memories, and instead enjoys his memories with Clementine one final time.
He's gonna be gone soon.
I know.
What do we do?
Enjoy it.
The Link's Awakening manga shows Link accepting that he will always have Koholint Island in his heart after it vanishes. This isn't shown in the game, but if you speak to Marin before waking the Windfish and beating the game, she says, "Don't ever forget me. If you do, I'll never forgive you." Even with the upbeat Mabe village theme playing in the background, this line strikes a chord in our hearts because we know what's coming. Marin's going to vanish along with everyone else on this island. The sad contrast between these two stories is the fate of our protagonists. Link ends up with a happier ending where he escapes the dream, keeping all the memories of Koholint Island, which will live on in his heart until his final days. As he floats in the sea that previously thrusted him into the dreamland, he looks to the sky to see the Windfish and a seagull, who reminds him of the person he didn't want to leave, Marin. It's not so optimistic for Joel in Eternal Sunshine, as he fails to stop the memory erasure and loses all memories of Clementine when he awakens. However, as fate would have it, these two find each other just hours after his mind was erased, and they naturally fall for one another again. Their new beginning, oblivious to their past, is short-lived, however, because the company that conducted these operations collapses due to events that unfolded during Joel's operation. During the dissolution of the company, each patient's file was sent to them in an attempt to expose the immoral practice. Both Joel and Clementine receive their files, and while they can't recall the memories, they're aware they have shared history.
I can't stand to even look at him. That pathetic, wimpy, apologetic smile, that sort of wounded puppy shit he does, you know?
What are you doing? Where's the real Clementine? I mean, the whole thing with the hair. It's all bullshit.
Leading to Joel and Clementine learning the lesson of the vital importance of memories in the human experience. Despite this, the movie ends by suggesting they'll try once more, with no confirmation of whether they'll succeed or fail this go around.
I can't see anything that I don't like about you.
But you
Right
will.
now, I can't.
But you will. You know, you will think of things. And I'll get bored with you and feel trapped because that's what happens with me.
Okay.
Okay.
Even though it ends ambiguously, there's one thing that is clear. Joel and Clementine have lost the memories of the emotional maturity they gained in the 2 years of their relationship, which makes me believe their relationship will fall apart again in a similar fashion. It's a pessimistic viewpoint on the future of Joel and Clementine, but I can't help but assume that because of my own experiences with cyclical relationships. And as painful as those experiences were, I wouldn't be the same person I am today because they made me who I am. The point of these stories is that, for better or for worse, memories shape us. If there's something I've learned in life, it's to never regret what has happened. I'm stunned whenever I hear people talking badly about a previous relationship and saying they regret it and wish it had never happened. When I hear that, I think to myself, you wouldn't be who you are today without that relationship. To me, it reads that you aren't happy with yourself. It's more understandable if the relationship was abusive, but in situations where relationships end through common issues such as miscommunication, differing goals, or lack of intimacy, they shouldn't ever be regrets. Wishing to forget these things make us no better than the flawed characters of Joel and Link at the beginning of their respective stories. We can't escape and hide in the past like Joel literally does in his dreams in Eternal Sunshine. Or how in the manga for Link's Awakening, Link attempts to leave the island with Marin on a raft, seeking to escape his fate with someone who isn't real, only for them to end up back at Koholint Island. It tells the reader that running from your problems is not how you should live life. You're not going to move forward if you keep running from the past. You need to communicate and sit through the difficult times to really move forward. Accepting that every memory we create, every connection we form, and every moment we live is what shapes us. That's the lesson Joel and Link learn. These stories exemplify the power of connections and memories, a theme that resonates deeply with me because to me, what makes life meaningful is creating memories and building connections. Without my past relationships, my loving friends, or the support I've received from everyone in my life, I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't be here making this video. I feel so fortunate to have a stable support system, friends and family who listen to me and care for me and are there for me no matter the situation. It's because of these people and these experiences in my life that I'm happy with the person I have become and continue to grow into because we're constantly learning and evolving as we experience more of what life has to offer. That's the true beauty of not just life, but these two stories as well. And just like the people in my life, they have made me a better person. While what I just explained was my main point, there are some smaller and less subtle connections I would like to point out between these two stories. As previously mentioned, Marin is essentially the manifestation of Link's expectations of what Princess Zelda is really like as a person outside of their minimal interactions from A Link to the Past. She isn't real. Clementine, on the other hand, is real. Very real. We see her interact with Joel outside of his dream. We see her on a date with Patrick during Joel's procedure. We see her drink at a cafe. we have an idea of what she's like as a person. The version we know of her the most, however, is the projection of her by Joel in his dream. Of course, it's pretty close to what Clementine is. She has a lot of her same mannerisms and her same tics, which makes sense because they dated for 2 years, so of course you're going to know the person you're dating very well. But there are still very small differences, and there's one in particular that I found on a rewatch that was really interesting. In one scene, Joel and Clementine are sitting on the ground playing with leaves, and they start going back and forth over something silly, but instead of furthering the argument like Clementine does in real life, she ends it.
Isn't that just another one of Joel's self-fulfilling prophecies? It's more important to prove me wrong than to actually...
I don't want to discuss this right now, okay?
Fine.
This is a pretty transparent clue that this is the ideal version of Clementine in Joel's brain. Clementine never gives up a fight. She always pushes them. She always wants to be right. She is very willing to argue anywhere.
You can't just say something like that and say you don't want to talk about it.
I'm sorry.
I'd make a fucking good mother. I love children.
Seeing her not continue an argument is shocking. It's subtle, but it's a reminder that this isn't Clementine we're experiencing. This is Joel's mind acting as Clementine as he sees her. It's not a direct comparison to Marin from Link's Awakening, since there is no real version of Marin. The closest thing is Princess Zelda from A Link to the Past, and we, the player, like Link, don't see much of her. While Marin and Clementine are seemingly opposites, they play a similar role in their stories. They're both a man's projection of a woman in their life. I would love to turn this into a piece about men unfairly idealizing women. However, it transcends gender. It's human. Everyone, regardless of gender, has versions of people in their head that aren't entirely accurate because it's impossible to know and understand every piece of a person. But I find it so interesting how Clementine and Marin are complete opposites personality-wise, but fulfill the same role in their story. Throughout Link's Awakening, Link is told that to wake the Windfish, he must collect the 8 instruments of the Sirens and play the Ballad of the Windfish. This tune is found in multiple songs of the game's soundtrack, and it's a song intrinsically tied to Marin because she herself sings it. In Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Beck, the famous musician, covers a song from 1980 by the Corgis, titled Everybody's Got to Learn Sometime.
Everybody's gotta learn sometime.
This song plays throughout the movie, including in the dream sequence.
Please let me keep this memory. Just this one.
I don't want to hold your hand. Come on.
Charlie Kaufman confirms in the director's commentary that this is Joel and Clementine's song in universe.
Yeah, that's a song they used to play together. Their song.
The lyrics of both songs are oddly contradictory to one another. Everybody's Got to Learn Sometime is a song about bettering yourself. The writer, James Warren, went on record to say, it was all about an individual changing and being a different sort of person, trying to find out the root of your inner confusion, dealing with it and becoming a better person. It's not a traditional love song for a relationship by any means, but Joel and Clementine's partnership was anything but ordinary. The English lyrics for Ballad of the Windfish summarize the plot of Link's Awakening from Marin's point of view, and the majority of the song encourages escapism with lyrics singing loving words.
Stay with me, by my side, never leave.
It ultimately flips into a more fitting theme by asking,
But if the worst comes,
and goes on to end the song with words of acceptance.
hold my hand, think of me, and I'll fly.
Indicating Marin's transformation into a seagull. Unlike Everybody's Got to Learn Sometime, which is a song all about growing and learning, Ballad of the Windfish displays reluctance to accept fate and encourages giving into escapism. It's supremely fitting with the themes of the game. Beck's song isn't anywhere near as crucial to the plot as Ballad of the Windfish is, but both songs play a critical role in both relationships. It's a neat similarity, as straightforward of a comparison as it may be.
I need your loving.
In Link's Awakening, the Nightmares are the main antagonists. They defend the 8 instruments necessary to wake the Windfish, preventing Link from leaving the dream unless he defeats them. These Nightmares play the same role as Patrick and Stan, the 2 employees in charge of erasing Joel's memory in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Throughout the movie, they prevent Joel from escaping the erasure, keeping him on track to accept the escapism he signed up for. It is a pretty simple parallel, but there is a deeper connection. These Nightmares are remnants of Link's past experiences, bosses and enemies from A Link to the Past. Before Joel undergoes surgery, he interacts with Stan.
He'll be handling your case tonight.
Great to meet you, Mr. Barish.
And Stan is found in his dream.
You might have already heard it. I suppose so. This is about right. This is what it...
Even more interestingly, and terrifying honestly, he never got to see Patrick's face. He only caught glimpses of it. And the movie cleverly shows that in multiple scenes. It's a grim reminder that even individuals whose face you don't know can become nightmares. In Link's Awakening, after the 4th dungeon, a ghost begins following Link. He must return it to where they seemingly spent their life, a lone house by Tarambo Shores. After the ghost peers around the house, it finds closure and accepts its demise. Link guides the ghost to their grave and lays them to rest. This ghost is one of the most beautiful parts of Link's Awakening. It effectively conveys the themes of accepting fate while also foreshadowing to Link that he needs to accept fate, that the world and those in it will vanish. In Eternal Sunshine, Mary's situation mirrors the ghost. Similar to how the ghost finds closure during Link's adventure, Mary finds closure during Joel's operation. She discovers she underwent the same operation as Joel to forget an affair she was a part of. This may be too simple of a comparison, but Mary, as a character, doesn't get enough love. I think she has a painstakingly tragic life, and she's a literal ghost of her former self because of the procedure. She's the only one who gets a resolution that puts her on a better path, and she deserves that. She's the prime example of how this line of work could ruin someone's life. These minor comparisons can seem like they're a bit of a stretch or basic compared to my main point, but I believe these 2 stories share a lot of the same DNA. I'm not sitting here saying that Link's Awakening inspired Eternal Sunshine. There's no way the writer Charlie Kaufman or the director Michel Gondry ever touched Link's Awakening, or any other game for that matter. They've probably never touched a game. I'm sure they scoff at video games. I bet they sit in their home theater and watch directors' commentaries all day, and I'm jealous. I want the luxury to do that. It sounds great. These themes discussed here are commonly found in other stories across every medium, especially in stories involving dreams. I could have substituted many other stories, but I chose Link's Awakening and Eternal Sunshine because they've played significant roles in my own life. These 2 stories became prevalent in a transformative time for me. After first playing Link's Awakening in 2011, it re-entered my life in 2015, a time where I had to accept the discomfort of letting go of my first love. My best friend, someone I trusted more than anyone else, and the person who today I hope is happy and healthy, regardless of the pain our relationship brought me, because our years together guided me to where I am today. Link's Awakening was instrumental in overcoming this emotional hump in my life. When I first played Link's Awakening in 2011, it didn't stick with me. But as life moved on and I experienced new beginnings, said goodbyes, built new friendships, experienced devastation, found love, and suffered heartbreak, I began looking at Link's Awakening under a new light. The story itself is like a flower. It blossoms with time as we experience more of what life has to offer. Zelda games aren't shy to touch on the unspoken sadness in life, and Link's Awakening is no exception, telling it in a way few other entries in the series have. And if I hadn't spent years with my first love, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind wouldn't have wormed its way into my brain when I first watched it in 2015. The way it captures the ugly but honest side of partnership that most romance stories avoid. Watching Eternal Sunshine for the first time was eye-opening, to know that many aspects that I felt were exclusive to my first love are actually universal. And it assured me I would find similar moments in later relationships, both ugly and beautiful. Because of this, these two stories are linked in my brain, and I'm happy after years of storing it in my mind, I was finally able to get this video out. Please watch Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Please play Link's Awakening. They made me into who I am today, and I think they're capable of changing your life too. And that's where this ends. Thanks for watching, everyone. Watch more movies, play more games. I'll see you next time.